Hello to everybody watching this. My name is Ahmed Elbanna, and today you're on the Booming with Banna podcast. Right now, it's episode 2. We've got Mr. Mohanned Shobain here with us, and we're going to talk about all things basketball, all things business, and all things self improvement. Thank you for watching this video, and let's get started. So, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Alhamdulillah. And who are you?
I get that question a lot. I'm a very humble guy. My name is Mohanned Shobain. I am from Saudi Arabia, born and raised here. Did my bachelor's and master's between Saudi, Malaysia, and then finally in the States. I'm a guy with a lot of passion, a lot of dreams, and a lot of things I want to accomplish in my life. They could not be in the same field. I like to diverse myself with different skills. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and when it comes to diversifying yourself, probably everybody watching this, if they don't know already, you're a basketball guy. It's your sport, it's your thing, it's what you're known for. So can you tell us, how did that come to play? How did you wake up and say, hey, basketball, it's what I want to do?
I honestly started playing soccer or football, and that was my profession sport. And I got called to play with Al Ahli team here as a professional player when I was 14. But then somehow at the same time when I was in Al Ahli, I played basketball just as a side sport because I did karate, I did swimming, I did basketball, I did tennis, I did multiple sports. But then somehow I found myself falling in love with the sport of basketball because I feel like it taught me so many things on and off the court when it comes to self-development, understanding how people think, and just really building my character. And I saw there was just a mysterious dream behind it. It's something that just could take me into many places. And it was just a vision that I saw through that specific sport. After that, I started playing here for Ittihad, so I just moved really quickly from football to basketball, where I used to train every single day, basketball just at home, and then moved into a few clubs, local clubs, and then started playing professionally for Ittihad Club. And then I moved to the States, where I also continued playing basketball there, developing my skills. Came back, got recruited for the national team, also coached the Saudi national team, and worked a lot in organizing many basketball games at a very high level, international and national level. And then really I saw that I could really tell how someone could react or think or how they would act outside a basketball court from their game style. I could tell who you are, what you do, how you do while playing with you. Are you a selfish guy? Are you sociable? Are you nice? Are you humble? Are you envy? It's just so many different characters I can really read out of everyone's eye from the game of basketball. And I feel like it taught me how life is, how can I pick up myself, and how passionate I'm supposed to be to really enjoy the process, and so many things that I can't really stop talking about. But the game of basketball taught me so much.
What do you think the value is for sports, though? Like you're mentioning right now, how you can tell so much from somebody playing a sport, what sport it is, and how they do play that sport. So what is the value of sport? Why should somebody else, even if they're not good at sports, maybe if they're not athletic, why should they pursue the tennis, soccer, swimming?
I feel like it brings a lot of positive energy and a lot of joy, even if they're not good at it. No one is supposed to play sports, and everyone has a dream. And I feel like everyone could have different goals. Maybe it's just me wanting to go play with my friends because I enjoy being around them. Maybe it's just me burning some calories. Maybe it's just I want to get to know more people. Maybe I'm just trying to find out where this sport could take me. I should always have a higher dream, but still be satisfied with where I am today.
And then I would ask, because I see this question a lot from me, from students, and yeah, like I'm guilty of it too. What do you tell people who say, I don't have time?
You should always have time. If you really want to make time, you will find a lot of time. A lot of people ask me how I do it all, and I feel like if you just need to learn skill management, and I feel time management, and I feel like if If you want to fit in 10 different things in your day, you will. Because if you think about it, you already are. And you're already spending time or juggling between your family, your school, your studies, your maybe social media, playing video games, seeing your friends, taking a shower, taking the time to go to the movies or hanging out with your friends. And I feel like you're already doing that. But if you feel like if you replace some of those activities with something that will really put into your personal development and will take you places, I feel like it's just a mindset and a choice that we have to make to really see how we can develop.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I mean, I'm in a realization now, because now when you put it that way, there is for me, and I am again like guilty, and so is everybody else with some of the stuff we do. You know, playing video games is cool, but not for too long, right? Phone, screen time, all that stuff. And you mentioned something about how you managed to balance this stuff to do. If you wanted to do it, you already balanced 10 things a day, right? So then I'd ask, what does your routine look like? You know, how you've gone right now. So you've got basketball, you've got so obviously social media. You work here at AISJ. So how does your routine look like?
So if I tell you what are the things that I do, I feel like just saying it could get you or myself overwhelming. But I really enjoy it, and because I enjoy it, I feel like I'm able to manage it. Other than the stuff you said, as a teacher here at AISJ, as a basketball coach in the national team, as a professional player in basketball, as a personal development coach, as the owner and CEO of Swish Basketball Academy, as a social media influencer on both TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, managing my accounts, Swish account, my wife's accounts, because my wife is a makeup artist. I also manage her accounts. And I'm also a photographer and a videographer. This is something that
Trick of all trades.
Yes, and I also take care of my family, take care of my house, and there's so many other things that I'm doing at the moment. And I'm getting into the passion of cars at the moment. Yeah. So I feel like I always want to develop and find me and find what I'm good at. And I feel like it's really because I love doing them, I enjoy them, and I find time for it. But what my daily routine look like? I wake up in the morning, come to school, be really mentally ready to be here, because in all of these places that I'm supposed to be at every day, I got to be 100% present, because it could get overwhelming sometimes if I have a million things that needs to be done. But at the same time, I really got to give 100% to everywhere I'm at, or 110%. So I'm here in school from 8 to 4, positive energy, giving back to the community, being a role model to the kids. But when I leave, I still got to give myself time. And I've been struggling, to be honest, with just trying to give everybody my energy, but forgetting to feed myself, because it's really important to gain energy to be able to feed energy, right? And I feel like lately I'm starting to realize that I'm getting burnt out because I haven't been giving myself quality time. So now I'm starting to, other than just playing basketball, but starting to just take care of my health, go to the gym, even if it was just a mobility workout or a stretching workout, or hit the jacuzzi or steam room, but also really get my mindset where I can just take some time to reflect on what I'm doing. And part of that, actually, every Friday, well, I've been doing it, but now since it's hot, but I'll start doing it again when it gets better. I go from where I'm staying to the beach, which is a 2-hour ride with my bike every Friday. And I don't listen to music, and I don't have anybody going with me. And it's just me thinking about what I did this week, what I can do better, and what are my plans for next week. And this is something I do every Friday, and it's going and coming back. And I feel like this exercise had made me really develop myself and rethink and just take a pause about what I'm doing in life to get it better. So after I work out, I go home, hang out with my wife, have lunch, and then got to see family duty or house duties, or play basketball if I have a game, or get ready for if there's a commercial I'm shooting, or prepare if there's a travel this weekend for a game. And it's just a lot of things, and every day is different, but that's my daily schedule.
You know, the thing I picked up on, and I resonate with this a lot, is when you said that you enjoy the stuff you're doing. You love what you're doing. And there's this one quote from Steve Jobs. He says, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And I think and even right now, you know, as a student and stuff, many people, they pick their courses, pick their classes, pick their extracurriculars, because that's the profile they want to fit. They have a certain, agenda that they want to, hey, I want to do this, this, and this for what? For university, right? But there's no point if you're not interested in what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, I guess, yeah. So, because, yeah, it's like the courses people take. Somebody might take, here we have the AP and IB, the university level programs here, right? People would take this and they'd say because of the college credit. But sometimes somebody else might say, I'm actually interested. And the people who are actually interested, they actually tend to perform better in all this other stuff. And
Exactly.
what you said about the balancing, that's a very big, and balancing and holding yourself accountable. And I think I find the second one, and most of us in this generation find ourselves accountable, or they find ourselves difficult with being accountable for what we're doing. So what advice would you give to, hold yourself accountable when you have homework to do and you're procrastinating, or you have a call or a meeting and you're late and because you were doing something else? What advice would you have to stop this, hold yourself accountable and say, hey, let's restart, redo?
I feel like there's a whole difference between I just want to get it done to get it done, or because I'm doing it because I enjoy it, or I'm doing it because I want to be successful. And I think there's a quote by Eric Thomas or Thompson. It says, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you will be successful. But what's the definition of being successful in this situation? Do people just want to be successful to get to a certain point? But what is that certain point? When is the time and place where they're like, I'm done, I made it? But there's really never a time where you're like, I'm done, because you can always get better and better and better. And I feel like there's no scale of being successful. Is being successful means making a lot of money? Is it having a house? Is it having your dream car? But I also feel like success to me is being healthy, is being around my family, is doing the things I love, is being around the people I love, and is to be positive and enjoy whatever I'm doing and to still strive for more. And so I feel like if their mindset, if the student's mindset, where when they are procrastinating or thinking of a homework that they just need to get done, really think of the aftermath, like the later result of, if I get this done, where is this door going to take me? Is it going to take me to just being successful and be a business owner, or be the CEO of Aramco, or is it going to take me to somewhere where I'm really going to enjoy my life and maybe enjoy the process of going to college, or just experience the environment there, or exchange culture with different environment, or just really thinking of the broader picture and how it will result at the end, and how every door will open even more doors, and more doors will open more doors. Just thinking about it positively in that manner and really finding themselves throughout the way. I feel like it's the way to go about it.
Did you see yourself with that broader picture and opening those doors when you went from playing basketball for a club to starting your own whole academy? Did you see that broader picture?
Oh yeah. Since I was, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that I had a dream when I was young to open my own academy. I still have bigger dreams. I feel like just this, and I call it little dream, is a door to even a bigger thing that could happen or will happen, inshallah, in my life. And I tell you one very baby example with how if you would have visions when you were younger or now to the future, that inshallah will happen. So when I was really young, and I think that was like early elementary or middle school, I think elementary, that's when I was 10 years old. When I used to be in school here in Saudi, I used to play football, as I told you. So every tournament we play, if we win a championship, they would give us little trophies or medals, and I used to keep them. From that day, I used to say, inshallah, once I grow up and I would have more medals, more trophies, more accomplishments, I want to build a room in my house that has all my trophies, so I can showcase all my jerseys and accomplishments in one big room, so I could see it as a motivation every day I pass by that room, or my kids could see it, or just for the next generation. And just a few weeks back, I finally, alhamdulillah, created that room and made that room, and I have a whole collection of all my accomplishments since I was 12 years old, 10 years old until today. And I'm still adding more, and I have space for more because I had that vision. And hopefully I can show you that video too, or a picture of how my room looks like now.
I've seen it.
You have? Amazing.
With the red LED lights and everything.
Yes.
And, for you to get there where there's a whole room of all this stuff, how would you, and obviously there's other people who have this exact same vision, whether it be with school, whether it be with sports, how would you tell them to respond to challenges? Challenges first, let's divide and conquer. The first challenge I'd ask how they would respond to is workload, right? Because some of these people who do pro sports train almost every day, school, study, no going out, none of this stuff. How would you tell them to think about this? How would they go about this?
So of course they would have a lot more responsibility, just like a regular human being, just like you and I, and other people. But I also feel like they have to prioritize what they want in their life. If it's being a professional athlete in sport, in school, and to balance it between this and that and their family, then I feel like they just have to really, really manage their time and put their full dedication and discipline through that. And if they really have that vision, and if they just manage themselves, and if they take every task or test step by step, and not necessarily to overwhelm themselves, but they feel like if they also surround themselves with that same environment so they can push each other up, I feel like that's a huge boost. Because if, let's say, you are a professional athlete now and you have visions and goals, and I don't, and I'm just there to be like the party pooper, and I'm just like, no, don't do that, let's just go out, let's just do this, let's just go have fun, let's go to the movies. Where in the other case, you are just really trying to go to the gym, study, sleep early, eat well, and not just trying to go out with me and eat fast food and sleep late and go out with bad people. So I feel like if you surround yourself with me, at the end of the day, one of us is going to drag the other guy. So I either drag you to my life or you drag me to yours. And I feel like if you surround yourself with a really similar environment where you push each other out or push each other into develop each other and put it into more like a challenge, so you can help each other to grow, I feel like that's the best thing that worked for me. I'm personally not I like solo or individual sports, but I'm a team guy, and I like to be sociable, and I like to be around people that have the same kind of mindset, if not better, so I can get better, and we can just get better off each other, and that helped me a lot.
Yeah, and they say, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Exactly.
Right. So a lot of people like on this journey, whether it is to, they have to pick and choose some of their friends, right? So I guess this is a hard question. Have you lost any friends on your journey to where you are now? And how did you feel about that? And yeah, just have you lost any friends, and how do you feel?
I have a lot, to be honest, and it's not a good feeling. But then if you think of it as your friends or my future, it's not really being selfish. But if your friends are dragging you down and you're trying to go up, you wouldn't even call them friends in the first place, right? Because a friend is someone who's supposed to be there for you all the time. It's someone who's there for you in the goods and bads. It's someone who's there for you where if you really need them, and they're there to push you to get better, and you're there to push them or him or her to get better. But if that friend is there just to envy you or look at what you have and just trying to take what you take, and is really not developing and not really seeing your vision and where you could be, I wouldn't call that a friend. So I actually take it back and say I haven't lost any friends.
For that, so when you mentioned they have the same vision as you. Some people don't. Some people don't have the same vision as you, and you're walking alone. There's this one photo of this path, this path. Sometimes you walk that path alone. And what would you tell somebody walking that path alone?
They don't need anybody. At the end of the day, it's their show. And I feel like you could have friends in school, you can have friends at work, you can have friends in the gym, you can have friends when you travel to Paris or whatever, but in the end of the day, it's just going to be you and that specific goal in front of you. Because I learned it the hard way. I always thought someone needs to push me. I always thought someone needs to be there to tell me to move and to work out and to do it. But no one is going to be there because really everyone is focusing on themselves, as you should.
Yeah, exactly. So I just to deviate it a little bit, right? If you had to have dinner with 5 people that are alive, who would they be?
Wow. And it's not any from the people that I know. Like, does it have to be from like? Is there like a certain category?
Your choice. Five people that are alive, have dinner with.
Okay, I'm not gonna pick my parents or my wife because I could have dinner with them anytime. But I'm gonna pick LeBron James. I'll pick J. Cole. I'll pick Shaquille O'Neal. I'll pick Kyrie Irving, and I'll pick Um, The Rock, Dwayne Wade.
Wow, that's an interest. That's very basketball, obviously. Yeah. You said LeBron. LeBron came to Saudi Arabia a while ago.
He did.
Yeah. What do you? And this is obviously this also tags in with the last episode I had with Mr. Jackson about Neom and what Saudi Arabia is doing. When it comes to all this sport, all this money that's going into sports, what do you see amounting from that? Basketball, football, whatever it may be.
So I feel like it's developing, and I feel like it's going somewhere where I don't think anybody had even imagined that this could happen in Saudi Arabia with King Salman and Prince Mohammed bin Salman are doing now for 2030 vision, and how they're really embracing female and male sports in Saudi. And I feel like we could already see the results because people can talk, but Saudi is now talking and walking, and they've really been proving how they're actually making a change. And they have started with football because football is the biggest sport here, and now you see all the A-star players and superstars are now in the Saudi league, and how everyone doubted that, but now they see that it's actually happening. And believe that this will also happen in basketball and many other sports.
How do you think Saudi Arabia ranks though? Like, because I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends. Like, and originally I had a stance. I honestly thought in the very beginning, the Saudi league, China did what Saudi Arabia is doing now, but it didn't work well. They brought in players from the Premier League for football, basically. Brought in players, great salaries, huge transfer fees. The Chinese league didn't work out. It failed. And I had that same, like, sort of idea. I was like, what's different this time, right? So I guess what is different this time?
That's a really good question. And I feel like if Saudi has a good vision, like the 2030, the vision we have at the moment, and there's a certain plan set for why we're doing this, are we just doing it just to build propaganda around it, just to say we're here? Or is there like a goal behind what we're doing? Is it to increase sports? Is it to build a new generation of young, smart, healthy athletes, both male and female? Is it to build new facilities? Is it to just better the overall sports in Saudi? So I feel like there is a bigger, wider, broader goal around this step. And I do see it growing, and I do see it continuing because the culture here is different and the goal is different. And it's not really just about the money, but I feel like the intentions it's not just going to be a hit and run because it is going to be a continuous plan, especially with not just football. If you tell me that China did it with football, but Saudi is doing it with football, wrestling, basketball, tennis, formula, and so many other sports to really not just grow it from one aspect, but from many different aspects.
Where do you think they'd rank in, let's say, 2030 vision? Where do you think Saudi Arabia would rank? I mean, all I know is football. I know basketball, obviously, but there's always NBA and then the
Right.
La Liga or whatever there is, right? But I know for football or whatever sport in general, where do you think by 2030 they'd rank?
Well, that's like 7 years or 6-ish years from now, and I feel like it takes even more time to build a whole new generation with that kind of mindset to be the best in the world. But I wouldn't say it's too late for the Saudis who are playing now, who are maybe now 12, 13, 14, or even 16, when they're playing in that first league or a professional league. Could they be at that mindset or at that high level, training from the guys and the players and the professional coaches that are coming now in Saudi? Could they be the best in the world? It's not far away, and I believe they can. But personally, and from just personal experience in coaching, I feel like it will take a longer time to let the world know that we're here and we have great athletes, and to really build that mindset around everybody in all different sports. And that's talking about soccer or football. Basketball, we're still far, but I think we will make it very soon.
Right. And also, I did want to ask, so I know stuff about school, right? I research this stuff. I like sports, but I don't want to go into sports, academics, all that stuff. I know that there is something in the U.S. called a feeder school. A feeder school is let's take AIJ, for example, a school there. Feeder school connected directly to a university, and students who graduate from this feeder school are more often than not, they have let's say like a link to that university. They have a good way to, like, their applications sort of designed in a way for that university, right? Can Swish be like that for big teams like in the NBA or in the European leagues? Or is it a
So
plan or
yes,
yeah.
so that's the plan. The plan for us is to grow every day, and right now we are Swish is the main powerhouse into feeding all professional teams in Saudi and the national team of Saudi Arabia, under 14, under 16, and under 18 players, and coaches at the same time. So we have three of our Swish coaches are now coaches in the Saudi national team for boys and girls. And then we have about 18 boys and girls are now made it from Swish to the national team. And then about 22 who have made it from Swish to Ahli and Ittihad and Hilal and Al Wahda teams here in Saudi for both men and women.
So I do want to ask because I am interested. Do you ever see Swish? Is it basketball or could you see a Swish football?
Um, I see it as, for now, it's basketball because that's what I'm expert at. There are talks and plans for us to open a soccer academy, swimming, and just expand from there as well. But that needs a whole lot of
Yeah, for sure.
facility and professional coaches. And the professional coaches and the experts are there, but the facility is a challenge.
Yeah. I don't know. What would you ask me or any students in general when it comes, like, obviously since you run a young people, like it's based off the youth, right? What would you ask me or what answers would you want from me to any of your questions when it comes to stuff like sports, promotion, what attracts people?
I would say, what is your goal of doing this? How do you see yourself growing from this?
You want them to have answer to that question
Yes.
if they do join your
And it could be anything.
anything.
I just need to I want them to know what is the reason why they are here. Is it because of me? Is it because they just want to hang out with me and see me, shake hands and take a picture? Is it they just coming to check it out? Is it they're coming just because they're seeing it on social media and they just want to see it in person? Is it to see their friends? Is it to hang out? Is it to really take it to the next step? Is it to don't know where they are, so we can help them we can help them guide. So I feel like if we know the answer of that question, we'll help them better.
What do you tell people who don't know though? There's people I know like in school for really colleagues, right? Who say I don't know what I'm doing. There's people who try to, and then there's people who just don't care. What would you tell them?
I would give him time because it's really difficult to know what you want to do now for your future. I studied my bachelor degree was in business administration, minor in finance, and that at that time I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I thought that was the thing I wanted to do, but then it ended up being something else. So I feel like I just give them the time, but I would also show them all the different opportunities ahead of them, and give them time to pick.
Time to pick, right? By and obviously this is a very vague and open-ended question, but by how much time? I know it varies for everybody, but we're in a place, we're in school. How much time do you think this sort of stuff? What's our clock on this?
That's a really, really hard question. I don't know if anyone can answer that question because some people can really just figure it out at the age of 25, 30. Some people can never figure it out. I feel like if you just have the right resources around you to help you at least start somewhere, and that could drive you to where you want to be. Because if now you pick photography, or now you're picking a podcast, and now you're doing what you're doing, but this could just be the door to your next vision or what you really want to do, and just to help you guide your way. So I feel like it's a really hard question I can't answer.
One of the things I noticed about myself is I've tried a lot of things. I do play football, and I went from defender, midfielder, defender, then back to what I am now, goalkeeper. Academically, I went from becoming a doctor to becoming a mechanical, electrical, now aerospace engineer. Wanted to become a pilot, all this stuff. So, and then there's this podcast, and then there's a bunch of other projects going on. What would you advise me or anybody else in this position? There's a lot of stuff going on. What do you commit to? How do you choose what you commit to, and how do you actually commit?
You're describing what I'm going through at the moment as well, because you could tell me, like, is basketball your final thing? And I'll tell you no. because I always want to grow more. And again, your podcast, or you be playing football, or you practicing whatever activity you feel like it's appropriate for you at the moment, could be something that is you're participating in now that is preventing you from something bad. So there's a good cause of what you're doing, but this could also be just the beginning or the first step of your big journey, where you're just taking one thing, one positive thing out of every different activity you're performing.
Take it day by day.
Exactly, until Allah or God is shaping you to the full person where you are where you will be, to then pick what you want to do. Because I still feel like I still have a big room to develop, and I still believe that even though I love basketball and it brings a lot of joy when it comes to playing, coaching, organizing, or working for the federation, or even taking it to a big scale, but I still believe there's something behind that door, because I've been in that door for a very long time, because I've been doing basketball for many years, and I still believe there is a next thing after this, and I'm only doing all of that to learn everything and then take all that knowledge and experience to either the same field but in a bigger position, or in a different field that requires me learning all these skills to potentially work in that other field. So God works in mysterious ways, and I feel like everything that I've been doing, I'll tell you something that I don't think you would even expect that I worked as. I worked back in University of Oregon, where I used to go for college. I worked as a conflict resolution services and a liaison between college and the Arab students, where I used to go to lawsuits, I used to go to court, I used to listen to people's problems and issues, and used to help solve them and be the connector between those Arab students and college, and go into like protests and be a neutral observer and take reports. And it's something that I never ever thought I would do, but it taught me a lot of things that I can take now and apply to my personal life, or basketball, or work, or anywhere else. So I feel like everything you do is really adding a lot of value to you, and is going to build you to the person who you want to be.
Yeah, and even with school and all this stuff, it's sort of like even from the subjects you won't expect, you learn things that you can apply in different ways. And yeah, I just find it really interesting. You're right about how everything you do just shapes. There is this one thing I read once, scrolling through social media. It's like everything you've done in your life has led you to seeing this post, and I think that's crazy to think. Everything I've done in my life has led me to be here right now.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's weird, right? You
It is.
you don't expect it. If a month, even I tell you this, do you think 10 years or 10 years, 12 years from now, you'd think you'd be where you are?
I would never know. I would never know. I feel like it's a huge puzzle, but you cannot connect the puzzle on the top until you connect the puzzle on the bottom. And I feel like it's I have no comment. It's just very, very, very complex.
Yeah.
I feel like if you let's take this example. I feel like if you were to play football tomorrow, but you're supposed to travel the day after, but then for God's sake you got injured today, and that prevents you from traveling tomorrow. Just think of the many different things in ways that could have happened if you got injured. What could happen if you didn't get injured? What could happen? And then think of the day after. If you got injured, the day after you're supposed to go to the doctor, but then you couldn't go to this doctor because it was Friday closed. What could have happened if you actually went to the doctor, and what could happen if you didn't go to the doctor? Versus going back to if you traveled, your wallet would have got stolen. What happened if you went to that train station where your wallet got stolen? What happened if you didn't go to the station? So there's so many routes into everything that is happening into your life. And I feel like if you change one direction, that can change the end result and everything else, right? So I feel like every step you're taking, right or left, it is for a purpose. And you could not see where that step is going, but God knows, trust me.
It's all like it's like a domino effect, but it's just one domino, and then the other domino could get hit back, and there's so many different things.
Exactly.
And obviously you've mentioned how you've learned, you worked conflict resolution, you've gone to university, basketball, all this stuff. Learning comes from a teacher, and you also teach here. What do you think is not correct is not the right word. There's different ways. But what is your teaching philosophy, and what's a golden rule, a rule of thumb everybody who teaches should follow for somebody to get that idea, whether it be basketball, math, anything?
I feel like just to really be a role model for the kids and to inspire them, not just to be like me, but to be someone who's even better than who I am, is to show them the way and lead them to the right path where they can actually be way more successful than who I am. Because I've been through that same route, and I've been a student. I've been someone who listens to the teacher and does not listen to the teacher. I've been in some classes where I hated the subject, and I've been in some classes where I loved the subject. So I could really see myself into those students and or in their positions, and I feel like playing a role of someone who is better versus a student where I make him feel like you don't know anything and I know everything is the wrong way of going about it. And I feel like just to give him a chance to where I'm not better than you, we are the same. It's like a professor cannot talk to his students like professors. He cannot
Yeah.
expect that the students are as knowledgeable or are professors like him. He needs to understand and humble himself in a way where he can speak their language. And I feel like the rule of thumb for me is to speak their language, but still keep an appropriate language where I'm also teaching them appropriate vocabularies or class standards and all of that. But I feel like this is a really good way of connecting with them. And it is, number one for me is connecting with the students and really make them enjoy where they're at so they can look up to coming to class smiling, leaving class smiling.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was last year. Last year, I got called on, me and a few other students, for the teachers were all coming back. Teachers were coming back for the school year, and we were all in the auditorium. It was a sort of like a panel conference, and we were discussing how teachers, all the niche stuff, or all the cliche stuff, how teachers can better support you, how you can. And I feel like the one thing I said, and a lot of other people agreed with as well, is a teacher is just a more knowledgeable friend. I think that's the best way somebody could teach or somebody could help you learn, because normally when you work in groups or you work with your friends, I'm pretty sure it's a study technique where you're teaching somebody, and it helps you reaffirm those concepts in your mind. Teachers who place themselves in that position where they're easy to approach, not just for the subject, but just generally, it creates a more personal feeling. And I just find it, they're, like you said, a role model. You're like, I want to be like this person.
I totally agree with you. And I feel like I've been putting myself in that position or situation and where I hope that I appeal like that to the students, and I feel like it's been successful many times, and that is my way of teaching.
Yeah. And another thing that comes with teaching, there's the learning. And then with the learning, there's I did well. I could do a crossover today. And then there's also, I missed a free throw for my team that would have won us the league. How do you think people should respond to failure?
Positive all the time, because you are been put in this position for a reason, and if you missed the last free throw that could have made us win the whole championship, where we've put in a lot of hours of practice, of a lot of dedication into what we're doing now to get where we at, to hopefully make our school proud, our parents proud, or just yourself. And if you made us lose today, it's for a reason, and it's because you need to learn not necessarily how to make a free throw, but how to handle pressure. And I feel like this also could reflect into, or you will reflect into your daily life at home, at work, or with your friends, that if you are again put in this pressure, what did you learn from being put in that position? Are you able to control? Are you able to zone yourself out from all the noise that is around you to really help yourself focus more into making that free throw next time? And I feel like just practicing on that again will help them get better. So yeah, being positive all the time.
How do you feel about when people say, and I don't know, even I have a mixed opinion about this, failure, it sounds it doesn't sound nice, but failure is necessary. That's what a lot of people say. Failure, you need to fail to grow, right? And then there's people who are, and I was one of those people. I was afraid, and I couldn't understand this concept of failure. It's not something that I had in my mind, right? And then a few things happened, whatever, failed. At least in my terms, I disappointed myself. So do you think necessary, like failure is necessary? Success cannot be achieved without failure.
Oh, for sure. If you just go into Malik Road or Amir Sultan Road and you just drive there, how many bumps and how many holes are you gonna find in the street? So many, so many. You just need to learn how to curve around them. You need to know how to get hit, but also continue driving, right? Or continue going in your life. And those bumps in the roads are gonna be your friends, are going to be your coach, are going to be school, they're going to be, could be your family, could be someone who envy you, could be you not being able to hit the shots or pass the test, or it could be so many things. There's no way where you could give up, but you can only learn from your mistakes. Because if you will never, ever be successful if you don't make a mistakes. And in my coaching style too, when I teach him a drill, and I see that no one is making a mistake, I tell them you don't belong here. You're supposed to be in the NBA. If you're not making the mistakes, it means you're not working hard enough. If you're not losing the ball while dribbling so hard between your legs, it means you're not doing it well. You're not going hard enough. But if you are going hard enough, then you will make mistakes. In that way, they will learn even better and better and better and grow from there. But if they're not making the mistakes, they shouldn't be here. They should be in the NBA.
Yeah. And I think also the thing with failure, and again, this is just personal experience, but failing, in my opinion, is so important because it's that feeling after you fail. When I give you that the free throw example, it's that feeling of, I felt this, I don't want this to happen again. I'm gonna work even harder so that this doesn't happen again. And I think that's such a necessary thing. There's obviously overachievers here at this, they're excelling people at this school, outside, sports, the world. And then I think about how, failure, they've probably tasted it once, they didn't like it, and they made sure it wouldn't happen again. So.
But I also feel like it's a very thin line where this actually can turn against them, where they start blaming themselves or pointing the fingers at themselves or taking it to heart where I failed, and this is a scary feeling. I don't want to feel it again. So this could actually push them away from doing it again. So it's just to really not be afraid to fail.
Yeah, not being afraid to fail. Right, yeah. And also, yeah, when it does come with learning, when you're doing all these different things, when I started this thing, it was because of, one reason. And as odd as this may sound, it's weird. I was scrolling through LinkedIn. I was free. I'm not I know, I was just scrolling through LinkedIn. It's a world I check every once in a while, right? And I saw this one post. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. It said, your first workout will be bad. Your first song will be bad. Your first play, like acting, will be bad. Your first podcast will be bad. And that's when I knew that I already thought the idea. I had Mr. Jackson. And when I saw your first podcast will be bad, I think the first thing I felt is I was like, whoa, first podcast will be bad. You don't want that to happen. But then at the same time, it's like, if you're comfortable with your first podcast being bad so that you could get advice, be open to it, and then learn from then on, I think it's a very big thing to just to take it. It's, what is it? That one movie, Creed, quoting Creed, it's where he says, I don't remember the character, but it's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward.
Exactly. So you definitely have to accept criticism. And I learned that too when I was younger. And when I did not receive any criticism or feedback from my coaches or from my colleagues or friends, and I'm like, yo, if I'm not receiving feedback, then I'm doing something wrong. I definitely cannot be the best, and I cannot be someone who's not making mistakes. Or you're just not being honest with me, right? You're afraid to talk to me. So am I not reachable? Am I someone that gives the vibe where you can't talk to me or you can't criticize me? So I started asking people questions like, yo, you need to tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I give feedback all the time and no one is talking to me. And until today, even we had a tournament a month ago where we won 6 championships in 10 days. It was a 3-on-3 FIBA national tournament. And I kept giving feedback. But at the end of the day, I realized no one is talking to me. I was like, there's no way I'm doing anything I'm doing everything right. There's definitely a way or a time where I'm doing something wrong, and I want you to tell me so I can realize it. Because if you're not talking to me, then I'm thinking I'm doing everything okay. Then it's gonna stack on me, and then I'm gonna look super bad. So you need to tell me now so I can fix it in the end. So it's also the people around you and your friends giving them the green light to tell you and for you to accept it, no matter how bad or good it is.
And there's a lot of people who I even now there's so many people who they don't accept it. No, it's hard for people to accept that they're bad at something, the criticism. And even I'll think about it this way, even sometimes from my own parents, right? Where they, even though your parents, nobody wants to see you doing better than them, than your parents. And even with my parents, with their comments, with what they think, with their advice, all this stuff, it's hard to take criticism because you think you're doing well, and then you look at the people around you and you're like, compared to everybody else, I'm doing well. And then my parents would tell you, or my parents would tell me, why are you comparing yourself with the people around you? You're a human, you're in the world. Compare yourself with the whole world. There's somebody out there better than you.
This is another point where I also teach my students in basketball and even in school is you should never ever compare yourself to anyone in this world. Not to the people in your school, not to the people in your neighborhood, not into the people in your house or into your family or in the whole world. Because everybody is different and everyone has a different potential. But what you need to do is to reach your maximum potential. Because if me and you can slam dunk today, but we try to get someone else who could have more skills than both of us, who's taller, who's more athletic, but don't know how to use his footwork and cannot slam dunk, then it's not fair. It's not a fair comparison because my gist of saying this is you just need to reach your maximum potential, just your maximum potential, and not compare yourself to anyone else.
With comparison, some people think comparison is unhealthy.
I believe so.
And they'd say things like, I only compare, and I agree to an extent, right? Where it's like, I only compare to myself to who I was yesterday. Did I do better than yesterday? Am I working on myself more today? It doesn't matter if I got X, Y, or Z done, am I better? And then I ask the question, it's realistic that you're in a world and you're in a competition. And that's the sad part. Competition, comparing. That's the whole thing, right? You're in a basketball competition. You're comparing the skills of one team to the other. And then I think about university admissions. You're comparing the character and the resume of one student to another student. Basketball skill to skill. So many things. And in a world where comparison is so magnified, it's a huge part of our world. Even with a job application here at the school, comparison. There's X and there's Y. Which one's better? So you said it was unhealthy. What way can we turn comparison or phrase it differently where it still aligns with reality? That at the end it is a competition with everybody else, not just yourself.
So I feel like to a certain extent, yes, it could be healthy, but I feel like the majority of people, if I'm comparing myself today to someone, let's say Michael Jordan, it is not realistic for me to be like Michael Jordan. Okay, I could be better, I could be less, but at the same time, I cannot compare myself to someone that I feel like is not realistic for me to compare with, and that could push me away. I feel like I'm at the mass majority of people could not handle comparison because it's not gonna be a motivation for them. Different people take comparison in different ways. Today I can yell at you in practice and shout and scream, and you could take it as a motivation. Because I remember a lot of people could like my coaching style and a lot don't. Because some people are used to or want me to push them, to yell at them, to shout at them for them to feel more excited and more pushed. And some don't like my style because I'm not the shouting coach. I'm the one who's really realistic and tell you need to do 1, 2, 3. If you don't, then I can't help you anymore because you need to help yourself. I cannot take one leg and push it and take the other leg and push it and throw the ball for you. You need to hold responsibility for that. And I feel like I feel like that's the best way to put it for me. And yeah, sorry, my mind just froze. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah, I guess I do agree that there is a balance, and you have to make realistic goals. And this was something we were discussing in one of my classes. It was about making realistic goals. And it was about, and I took a stance on this, and I strongly held this stance. It was about, could an F student in 10th grade, for example, become an A plus student in 11th grade? A lot of people said, be realistic, right? Be realistic. Say, no, let's aim for, he's F, let's aim for a B minus, C plus. Let's have that range first, right? And then I strongly took the position, and even, and I say this because it's a quote from my dad, where he told me, and it comes obviously with tests. He said, if you aim and you study and you work hard for that 100 mark, you're gonna get that 100, 99, 98, 97. You're in a range, but you gave it your all for that full mark, right? Obviously, there's something happens, whatever. If you say, I want an 89, aim high, you get high. Aim low, you get lower than what you expect. 89, then it becomes 89, 88, 87. There's no such thing as performing better, but not putting in the amount of work that's respective to it, right?
Exactly.
So then again, like what do you think of that?
I totally agree with you, and I feel like if people, when they ask me what's your goal in basketball and why are you doing this and how you see yourself in the next years, I tell them I want to be the best in the world, and if I can, so that's aligning with you when you said you should aim higher, and that's my highest goal. But again, is it reasonable? Is it realistic? It could not be, but still, you still have to dream big. You still have to think big to make it bigger. But I thought of that, and that was my dream, because if I didn't make it, if I'm not the best in the world, then at least I'm the best in Asia. If I'm not the best in Asia, then I'm the best in the Middle East. If not in the Middle East, then in the Gulf countries. If not in Saudi, if not in Jeddah, if not, then at least in school. If not, at least in my team. If not, at least in my home, around my brothers and sisters. So I'm still satisfied with whatever result I am taking. It's because, as you said, it is irrespective to the amount of time and the amount of dedication and workout that I'm putting in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, aiming really high and getting a higher than where you are at the moment is still an accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. And I also do think of this other quote that says, um, what was it? Let me think of it. If your capacity to achieve your dreams are smaller than what they actually are, that's a correct dream.
Exactly.
Where you push yourself to where you don't even think it's possible. No, if it's achievable, there's no achieving. No, this is not possible, but I'm gonna make it possible. And I just really like that, because when people, well, especially, and obviously when it comes to schools or with business, I want to become a millionaire. I want to become a billionaire. I want to go to Harvard. I want to play for the Chicago Bulls. All this stuff is crazy. Right now, no way, right? But then it's like having that, light at the end of the tunnel that I think is really important for people to envision. And it's why I also don't like it when people don't have a goal. I think it's the biggest, like for me, when I meet somebody and they don't have a goal, they don't have a set thing, they're just going through life. It's like walking through a forest in the night, but with your eyes closed. It's you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happening. And I just think, especially for now, and I hope this is what this podcast is sort of doing as well, shining light for people that there are doors and you should start searching for them.
For sure. And I feel like this could result into the environment around these people is no one is there to guide them. No one is there to inspire them or motivate them to really find themselves or drag them into something that even if they don't like, but they start to like because they like me, so they're going to start liking it because I like it, and therefore where both of us are dragged into doing something positive in our life. And this could be the door to different doors, because me and him could go different ways, but at least that was the reason to pull him in.
Yeah. And that's, again, links all the way back to the role model thing. And when some people walk up to me and they're like, how do you do it? Extracurricular, school, all this stuff. When, I think to myself, and this is a huge admission that a lot of people don't realize. And obviously I don't mean to like over exaggerate it, right? But if you're doing well in school, I don't think I am I'm a genius. I don't think I'm, math Olympiad, Albert Einstein smart. I just think I put my head down, I do it. And that's how it's like hard work or yields results, not just being. And then there's obviously people, and that's the thing with the comparison. There's obviously people who are smart like that. And then you compare yourself to those people, and then you start feeling bad because you're like, how.
I can never be like them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an hour, like they'd study for an hour or they'd train for just an hour and they'd be so much better than you when you're in there 8 hours at the gym and nothing's changed.
Everyone has different ability,
Yeah, exactly.
different ways of taking in skills, right? I could, as you said, I could be doing something for an hour and you could do something for 8 hours and still learn the same, right? But you took more time to understand, and it depends on how everybody takes it. You could be a visual learner. You need more time to understand, and this is something that I tell my players too. And even the coaches, when I'm doing my coaches training and I'm training the coaches how to coach the kids, and one of the things I tell them is everybody has a different way of learning. So when you explain a drill, do not think that is, no matter how easy it is in your mind, don't think that they understand it the same.
Yeah.
If you tell them you need to zigzag around this cone 5 times, turn around between the legs, left layup, and then go back and run, touch the baseline, and come back. You cannot just say it. But for some people, by you saying it, they will get it like that. For others, you need to explain it. For other people, you need to put the cones and actually demonstrate it. And for less people, you need to run it a few times until they understand it. And for other people, they need to do it. They need to make mistakes until they get it. And for others, they may never get it. So it's just really different from everybody.
Who do you think comes out on top? A talented person or an obsessed person?
When you say obsessed, do you mean hard worker?
Hard worker.
Definitely hard worker. Because hard work can beat talent if talent does not work hard. And that's a quote
Like
from
Kyrie Irving.
Is that Kyrie
It's
Irving?
Kyrie
Yes.
Irving. Yes. You're right. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we've hit our time. I want to thank you so much for being on here. I think it's amazing that not only because you teach
Middle school.
middle school, so that's an age group, and then for me, my audience, according to YouTube statistics, is 18 younger, and then 24 to 30 something, which is cool, right?
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah. So I think it's amazing that you've come on here. We have an audience of different ages. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I personally enjoyed it. And I appreciate what you're doing, taking the time from school to dedicate your time to doing this. And I really wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And to everybody watching, thank you. Next episode comes out, hopefully, same consistency, same style. Let me know who you'd like to see on this podcast. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Thank you.